Hey guys, SirVern back here, and today I am going to review the best game I've played in a long time. So this is called the DioField Chronicle. It's a strategy RPG, real-time strategy, but you can also pause it. I'm going to start off with some screenshots, but I'm going to go through the same 5 categories I always do: graphics, performance, gameplay slash story, replayability, fun factor, then give them a score 1 to 10, average them up, and then talk about the game. So the first screenshot shown was the collector's edition from Square Enix. It was not cheap, and I don't buy a ton of collector's editions unless I'm just like in love with the game. Because first of all, I don't have a lot of room, and it's expensive. Um, this is nearly a perfect game for me. It's by far, I don't want to say my favorite PS5 game. I'd have to really think about that, but it is the best game I've played in forever. You're going to see just like one mission all the way through. I think this first footage is of, but anyway, let's start off with the graphics. Um, I wrote 9 at first, and then I think I'm just in love with the game. So then I knocked it down to 8.5. The graphics are great, right? It's not like best graphics you've ever seen, but they're very good. It's anime type graphics, so for what they were going for, I think it looks amazing. Um, and you can run this game at like a performance or quality, so you have the option to run it real smooth. I ran it in graphic fidelity because there's not a whole lot going on the screen very fast. Even at 30 frames a second, this would look good, but I'm pretty sure it runs in 60 even in quality, but it prioritizes graphic fidelity rather than performance. So you will see some frame dips, but I chose that. You could have done performance. But anyway, graphics 8.5. I think they're good, even close to great, especially with the cutscenes and the effects. Um, and I just love this game. I'll get more into the gameplay in a second, but performance, a 10. Because like I said, you can run it in performance mode. I never had it crash one time. The game was done when it came out. There's no patches that are required to make it work. This game just works. It's perfect. I had no issues the whole time. Not one issue. This is the way games should come out right here. 10 out of 10 for performance. Really not much to say about that. Like I said, it'll frame dip a tad bit if you run it in quality at 4K. But you can run it performance, and I'm not sure what resolution it runs in, but regardless, it gets a 10. Gameplay slash story. All right, 10 out of 10. Amazing. So you can see, you can slow down time and position your guys. If you hit an enemy from the back, it does additional damage. You have all these specials. Put different weapons in every character's hands, different armor, different accessories that change different stats. So every player, and you build your army. There's a ton of guys to choose from. You can pick what your primary and secondary guy is. You'll have like a main guy and back him up with someone. There is a ton of strategy built into this game. There's countless different ways to go about beating a game, different routes you can take, different characters do a lot of different things. So you have like a cavalry type character, an archery slash gun type character, like a mage for healing, and then just a swordsman. And you can have all swordsmen if you want. You can have all mages if you want. So there is almost endless variety in the way to go about beating this game. Like you can see right there, one of the crazy specials. It looks like a Final Fantasy type finishing move. It's amazing. You don't build in this game. If this had building and stuff, this would be the best game ever created. But it's mainly a strategy RPG leaning towards the RPG, right? It does have strategy elements in that you need to position your characters. Like it's almost like a grid-based strategy game, but without the grid. So it's important, where you are in relation to the enemy, and what way you approach the enemy. But anyway, the gameplay is super addicting and fun. It's you fight a mission, then you go back to your base, right? And you go back to the base, you can talk to all the different characters you've come in contact with. You can upgrade your characters, upgrade your base, kind of like you upgrade aspects of it, like where you make weapons can be upgraded and all that, you know, different like armor sets, different like that special you saw, you can upgrade aspects of it. Um, so your base has all kind of things to sit there and tweak with to make your gameplay your own and go about missions in a different way. If you're struggling in one area, you can focus on that area. I love strategy games, if you couldn't tell, and this game is amazing. It's everybody will have a different playthrough, and we use different characters, so it's really interesting. I'd like to see what other players like use to beat the game, and it does have a new game plus, which I'll get into in replayability. But the story, gameplay is a 10 out of 10. The story is a 10 out of 10. It Strategy games usually don't have the best story. What I'm talking about is like a RTS game, a traditional real-time StarCraft, Warcraft 2, 3 type game. The stories aren't usually the best. They're there and it adds to the gameplay. The story and the gameplay are all right there. Both are 10 out of 10. The story is awesome. It has a whole like library within the game that you can go and read about all the different factions, all the different characters, their backgrounds. It is awesome. Every character has like their own personality, um, and some surprises happen along the way and really keep you guessing. You don't know what's going to happen next. Everything was great. The whole game from start to end. It took me right at 35 hours for my first playthrough to beat. Um, and just incredible. A great beginning, middle, and end. I loved the ending. I loved this game. So gameplay and story gets a 10. Replayability. This is where I wish I could say better things. Um, it could have done like an endless mode. I wish they would have added to it. So I did beat the game 35 hours under medium, right? Or normal. What I think the creators want you to beat it under. But it also had a hard setting, and I wish there was a trophy related to that, so it makes you do it. A new game plus opened when I beat the game. I wish that it would make you beat the game again under New Game Plus with much more difficult enemies, something, or just like I don't like leaderboards. I like how it's not online, but I wish there was some kind of like endless mode where you're just trying to survive, maybe setting up certain turrets and backing your characters up. Something like that would have made replayability a 10. If there was anything else, or even a trophy related to in-game content. I did platinum the game. There was a screenshot at the beginning to show. But I gave replayability an 8, and I gave it an 8, which is kind of high for this game. But like I said, you can play it with different characters. If you didn't care about trophies, this would be a 9 or a 9.5 for replayability. But I do care about trophies, so I'm docking it, and I give it an 8. Because if it had even one trophy related to in-game content, it would be a 10. Because a 70-hour game is a lot. That's a big first strategy game to me. A campaign, 70 hours. 35 is good, but if they would doubled it and made you beat it one more time, it would have been a 9.5 or 10 out of 10. Replayability 8. Fun factor 10 out of 10. I loved every second. I don't get hooked on games like this a ton, but this one had me hooked. Every chance I got, I played it. I loved this game. I talked to my wife into letting me get the collector's edition. In the collector's edition, it comes with a board game with all the factions, and it's sealed right now, and it's on my shelf. And I even ordered the steelbook as well from overseas. And in Europe, if you pre-ordered this game, it came with a steelbook and a poster. But I can't justify spending any more money on this game. I bought the collector's edition. I have it back there behind me. I'm really debating whether to open it or not. I might just go ahead and open it and just play the board game so I can get some more of this game. But I loved it. Loved this game. I'm not going to spoil anything. I highly recommend you play it if you like strategy games. Man, it's amazing. So fun factor a 10, and just to review, graphics 8.5, performance 10, gameplay/story 10, replayability 8, fun factor 10. Average those up, you get a 9.3 out of 10. Amazing. This is higher than most games I've played. My favorite game in such a long time. Absolutely loved this game. I wish there was more games like this. And if this game, man, if it just had just an endless mode or some kind of additional, just something to make you play it, and a few more trophies. Ah, man, it would be a, it's already one of my favorite games of all time. I can tell you that, but it would be nearly a perfect game if it had something else, another mode or something. But anyway, just some more notes about the game. I wrote, I love these types of games. Um, Love it. It even has cutscenes, like voiced cutscenes. All the characters have different voices. It's not cheaply done. I guess this would be like a double A game from a triple A developer. Um, you know, they just released Forspoken and it got a lot of hate online. Um, but this is like, if they kept making games like this, Square Enix would be like one of my favorite publishers and game creators out there. Love these types of games. And I wrote multiplayer slash local. And what I mean by that, like if it just had like an additional mode, like I've said a few times now, like where you could fight enemies, an endless mode where you go against a few different players on a map. They could have done that with this game. They had the foundation. All they had to do was add another mode or two, and it would have been perfect. It would have been my favorite game of all time. It needed better trophies, like I said. The trophies where you can get it in one playthrough, which is super disappointing. That's why I gave replayability an 8. If it took 2 playthroughs, 3 playthroughs, make me put 150 hours into this game, it would have been a 10 for replayability. And awesome specials, like I said, I wrote. You saw a few of them in the footage before. So you can see right here, I'm talking to like the researcher, and you can just upgrade different aspects of your home base, your camp. You start out as some mercenaries, and I'm not going to go into it any further than that. But as you can see, I gushed about this game for a good long while. Thanks for sticking in if you made it to the end. The game also, last thing I'll say about it is it's not full price. I bought it for $40 brand new, and I think it runs around $40 at most retailers I've seen. And you could probably get this game used, you know, $30 from GameStop or whatever. But if I had to guess, games like this will go up in price because they're not super popular or not popular at all. But games like this will be like fan favorites because I'm definitely one of them. Huge fan of this game. I love this game, and I do want to play it. This is a game I'd play again, regardless of the trophy situation. But anyway, that's all I got for the DioField Chronicle. Amazing game. Play it. Bye.